Good day, sir, and good day, everyone. My name is Angela K. Picaponpon, and today we're gonna talk about the Code of Ethics for Engineers. So before we start, let me introduce my co-members, which is Charmaine Garcia, Cleo Entereso, and Camille Balmes. What is the Code of Ethics for Engineers? It means that an engineer will work with the standards and approval material and that they will follow the set engineering procedure during their career. Preamble. Engineering is an important and learned profession. As a member of this profession, engineers are expected to exhibit the highest standards of honesty and integrity. Engineering has a direct and vital impact on the quality of life for all people. Accordingly, the services provided by engineers require honesty, impartiality, fairness, equity, and must be dedicated to the protection of public health, safety, and welfare. Engineers must perform under standards of professional behavior that requires adherence to the highest principle of ethical conduct. So, engineering is a crucial profession requiring honesty, integrity, and dedication to the public health, safety, and welfare. So, engineering must perform ethically and maintain high standards of professional behavior, ensuring the positive impact on people's life. So next is the fundamental canons. Engineers in the fulfillment of their professional duties shall: first, hold paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public. Second, perform services only in areas of their competence. Third, issue public statements only in an objective and truthful manner. Fourth, act of each employer or client as faithful agent or trustees. Fifth, avoid deceptive acts. Lastly, conduct themselves honorable, responsibly, ethically, and lawfully, so as to enhance the honor, reputation, and usefulness of their profession. So, the fundamental canons says this: to improve the profession's reputation and usefulness, the engineer must prioritize public safety, health, and welfare, and to perform their services within their competence, and issues objective public statements, act as faithful agent, and avoid deceptive acts, and conduct themselves honorably, responsibly, and ethically, and also legally. So the next topic is rules of practice. So first is the engineer must prioritize the safety, health, and welfare of the public. So A, if their judgment is overruled, they must notify their employer or client and other authorities. B, they must approve engineering documents that conformity to applicable standards. C, they must not reveal information without prior consent. D, they must not use their name or associate in business ventures with individual engagement in fraudulent or dishonest enterprise. E, engineer must not aid or abet unlawful engineering practices. And lastly, F, if they know a violation, they must report it to professional bodies and public authorities and cooperate with authorities for necessary information or assistance. So second is engineers shall perform services only in the areas of their competence. So A, undertake assignments when qualified by education or experience. B, they cannot affix signatures to plans or documents not under their direction or control. C is engineer can accept assignments, coordinate projects, and sign engineering documents, but each technical segments must be signed and sealed by qualified engineers. Third is engineers shall issue public statements only in an objective and truthful manner. So A, engineer must maintain objectivity and truthfulness in their professional reports, statements, testimony, including relevant information and a current date. B. They can express publicly based on knowledge and competent in the subject matter. So lastly, C. Engineers must not issue statements, criticism, or arguments inspired by or paid for by interested parties without explicitly identifying them and revealing any interest they might not have in the matter. So the next reporter will be Charmaine Garcia.
And the fourth rules of practice is that engineers shall act for each employer or client as faithful agents or trustees. A. Engineers shall disclose all known or potential conflicts of interest that could influence or appear to influence their judgment or the quality of their services. Sabihin po, in-emphasize nito yung significance ng integrity and transparency sa engineering work. Engineers must openly acknowledge and manage yung conflicts of interest in order to maintain the trust and yung confidence ng clients, employers, and ng general public sa mga engineers. And by doing this po, tutulungan nila na ma-ensure na yung engineering projects and services ay naka-carried out with highest standards ng professionalism, objectivity, and quality. B. Engineers shall not accept compensation, financial or otherwise, from more than one party for services on the same project or for services pertaining to the same project, unless the circumstances are fully disclosed and agreed to by all interested parties. So, hindi sila pwedeng mag-receive ng payment, whether it is money or kahit na ano pang valuable na things, from multiple parties na nag-work doon sa same project or nag-work doon sa related na project. Unless lahat po ng parties na involved doon sa project na yun ay fully informed and nag-agree doon sa arrangement na yun. C. Engineers shall not solicit or accept financial or other valuable consideration, directly or indirectly, from outside agents in connection with the work for which they are responsible. Ibig sabihin po, engineers are not allowed to seek or receive money or any valuable things, katulad ng letter B, from external parties for the work they are responsible for. In-emphasize ito yung importance ng maintaining natin, yung pag-maintain natin ng professional integrity and to avoid conflict of interest na din. Engineers should act in the best interest of their projects or clients without any personal gain from outside sources. D. Engineers in public service as members, advisors, or employees of a governmental or quasi-governmental body or department shall not participate in decisions with respect to services solicited or provided by them or their organizations in private or public engineering practice. Ibig sabihin po nitong statement ito ay engineers working in public service roles, whether as members, advisors, or government employees or any government-related organizations, must avoid involvement in decisions related sa services na in-offer ng organization nila. Ibig sabihin, hindi sila pwedeng magkaroon ng say sa mga bagay na pwedeng magkaroon ng benefit yung organization nila or yung engineering work. Letter E. Engineers shall not solicit or accept a contract from a governmental body on which a principal or officer of their organization serves as a member. Ibig sabihin po nito, engineers and yung organization nila should not seek or accept a contract from a government body kung yung owner or yung officer ng organization ay also a member of that government body. Ini-aim po nito na ma-maintain yung transparency and yung fairness sa awarding of contracts. Ini-ensure din ito na each individuals with decision-making power and the government body do not use their influence para ma-benefit yung kanilang organization. And the fifth rules of practice is that engineers shall avoid deceptive acts. A. Engineers shall not falsify their qualifications or permit misrepresentation of their or their associates' qualifications. They shall not misrepresent or exaggerate their responsibility in or for the subject matter of prior assignments, brochures, or other presentations incident to the solicitation of employment. Shall not misrepresent pertinent facts concerning employers, employees, associates, joint ventures, or past accomplishments. Ibig sabihin po, engineers should never lie about their qualifications or credentials. They must accurately represent their educational background, professional experience, certifications, and any other qualifications relevant doon sa field ng engineering. They are also responsible not only for their own qualifications, but also for ensuring that their associates and colleagues accurately represent their qualifications. They should provide an honest and accurate account of their roles and responsibilities in previous projects. And dapat hindi rin nila exaggerate yung level ng involvement nila or yung contribution nila doon sa previous assignments or projects nila. B. Engineers shall not offer, give, solicit, or receive, either directly or indirectly, any contribution to influence the award of a contract by public authority, or which may be reasonably construed by the public as having the effect or intent of influencing the awarding of a contract. They shall not offer any gift or other valuable consideration in order to secure work. They shall not pay a commission, percentage, or brokerage fee in order to secure work, except to a bona fide employee or bona fide established commercial or marketing agencies retained by them. It means that engineers must not engage in any form of bribery, influence, or questionable practices to secure the contracts from government authorities. Hindi rin sila pwedeng mag-offer ng any contributions or gifts to affect the contract awarding process. In addition to that, they should not pay commissions or fees para ma-secure yung work nila unless it is a legitimate payment sa actual employee or established marketing agency na ni-hire nila. Na-emphasize lang nito the importance ng fair and transparent competition when pursuing contracts. Professional obligations. 1. Engineers shall be guided in all their relations by the highest standards of honesty and integrity. A. Engineers shall acknowledge their errors and shall not distort or alter the facts. Engineers should openly admit and take responsibility doon sa kanilang mistakes or errors sa work nila. Hindi sila pwedeng mag-attempt to manipulate or change the facts para lang pagtakpan yung pagkakamali nila sa project nila. Yung commitment nila sa honesty and accountability ay important para ma-ensure yung integrity and safety ng engineering projects. B. Engineers shall advise their clients or employers when they believe a project will not be successful. So, engineers should communicate openly kung meron silang concerns or doubts about dun sa feasibility, viability, or success ng project. Instead of simply proceeding without addressing yung mga potential issues, engineers are expected to raise their concerns and provide their expert judgment. By doing this, engineers help to ensure that decisions regarding the project are made with a clear and understanding of its risks and challenges. This can ultimately lead to more informed and responsible decision-making, potentially preventing costly failures, or adverse outcomes. C. Engineers shall not accept outside employment to the detriment of their regular worker interests. Before accepting any outside engineering employment, they will notify their employers. So engineers should not take on other jobs that harm their primary work. If they consider outside engineering work, they must inform their current employers to maintain transparency and to avoid the conflict of interest. D. Engineers shall not attempt to attract an engineer from another employer by false or misleading pretenses. So engineers should not use false or deceptive tactics to try and convince another engineer to leave their current job and join a different employer. Ina-emphasize nito yung importance ng honesty and integrity in professional recruitment practices. And E. Engineers shall not promote their own interests at the expense of the dignity and integrity of the profession. So engineers should prioritize the dignity and integrity of their profession above their personal interests. It means that they should not engage in actions or behaviors that could bring disrepute or harm to the engineering profession for their own gain. So in other words, engineers should act ethically and in a manner that upholds the honor and reputation of their field, even if it means making choices that are less personally advantageous. And last, engineers shall treat all persons with dignity, respect, fairness, and without discrimination. So engineers must interact with everyone in a respectful manner, and they should treat all individuals with dignity and without bias regarding of factors such as race, gender, or background. Number 2. Engineers shall at all times strive to serve. Letter A. Engineers are encouraged to participate in civic affairs, career guidance for youths, and work for the advancement of the safety, health, and well-being of their community. So engineers should be involved in their communities. It can include volunteering, participating in local government, or contributing their expertise to community development projects. Or pwede rin silang mag-guide ng mga young individuals who are interested in pursuing careers na related sa field nila. So engineers are encouraged to use their expertise not only in their professional roles, but also for the betterment of society as a whole, promoting community engagement, mentorship, and contributions to community well-being. Letter B. Engineers shall not complete, sign, or seal plans and or specifications that are not in conformity with applicable engineering standards. If the client or employer insists on such unprofessional conduct, they shall notify the proper authorities and withdraw from further service on the project. So engineers should not approve or endorse plans that do not meet recognized engineering standards. They must not complete, sign, or seal such documents. If the client or employer insists on proceeding with unprofessional or non-compliant plans, the engineer is required to report this to the relevant authorities. So this ensures that the project is held to proper standards and regulations. Letter C. Engineers are encouraged to extend public knowledge and appreciation of engineering and its achievements. So engineers should share their knowledge and expertise with the public, explaining the importance and the impact of engineering in everyday life. They should promote and celebrate achievements and innovations in their field to inspire interest and appreciation for engineering. They can also participate in educational programs, talks, or events that help students and the community learn more about engineering and its contribution to the society. Letter D. Engineers are encouraged to adhere to the principles of sustainable development in order to protect the environment for future generations. So when engineers design and implement projects, they should consider the long-term impact on the environment and aim to protect it for the well-being of future generations. So it is about balancing the economic, social, and environmental factors to ensure a more sustainable and responsible approach to engineering. And last, engineers shall continue their professional development throughout their careers and should keep current in their specialty fields by engaging in professional practice, participating and continuing education courses, reading in the technical literature, and attending professional meetings and seminars. So engineers must stay updated with the latest developments and knowledge in their respective fields of expertise. They should actively participate in courses, workshops, or training programs to enhance their skills and knowledge. They should also regularly read technical publications, research papers, and relevant literature study to stay informed about industry advancements. They can also attend conferences, seminars, and meetings within their profession to learn from their peers or to share their ideas. This guideline encourages engineers to be proactive in keeping their skills and knowledge up to date, ensuring that they provide the best possible service to their clients and maintain the highest professional standards throughout their careers.
Professional obligations. Engineers shall avoid all conduct or practice that deceives the public. Engineers shall avoid use of statements containing a material misrepresentation of fact or omitting a material fact. B. Consistent with the foregoing, engineers may advertise for recruitment of personnel. Consistent with the foregoing, engineers may prepare articles for the lay or technical press, but such articles shall not imply credit to the author for work performed by others. Number 4. Engineers shall not disclose without consent confidential information concerning the business affairs or technical processes of any present or former client or employer or public body on which they serve. Hindi po sila pwedeng maglabas ng ng information ng mga client nila. Ano lang po yung mga dapat gawin ng engineers, yung pagtatayo lang po pero nang walang credits. Siguro may credits po pero yung since sila yung gumawa nun, yun lang po mismo sa project pero yung ng mga client nila hindi labas na po sila doon. A. Engineer shall not, without the consent of all interested parties, promote or arrange for new employment or practice in connection with a specific project for which the engineer has gained particular and specialized knowledge. B. Engineer shall not, without the consent of all interested parties, participate in or represent an adversary interest in connection with a specific project or proceeding in which the engineer has gained particular specialized knowledge on behalf of a former client or employer. 5. Engineers shall not be influenced in their professional duties by conflicting interests. A. Engineers shall not accept financial or other considerations, including pre-engineering designs, from material or equipment suppliers for specifying their product. B. Engineers shall not accept commission or allowances directly or indirectly from contractors, or other parties dealing with clients or employers of the engineer in connection with work for which the engineer is responsible. For professionalism po, as an engineer, we have core values which is professionalism, integrity. Kaya po wala dapat po hindi po sila sumatanggap ng suhol ganun. Lalo na sa materials kasi what if yung material na mangi-sponsor sa kanila hindi subok tas bago lang kasi gustong makilala kaya pina-sponsor. Dapat po as a engineer, dapat po yung mga gamit na iaano natin sa client natin subok at matibay. Number 6. Engineers shall not attempt to obtain employment or advancement or professional engagements by untruthfully criticizing other engineers or by other improper or questionable methods. Engineers shall not request, propose, or accept a commission on a contingent basis under circumstances in which their judgment may be compromised. B. Engineers in salaried position shall accept part-time engineering work only to the extent consistent with policies of the employer and in accordance with ethical considerations. C. Engineers shall not, without consent, use equipment, supplies, laboratory, or office facilities of an employer to carry on outside private practice. Number 7. Engineers shall not attempt to injure, maliciously or falsely, directly or indirectly, the professional reputation, practice, or employment of other engineers. Engineers who believes others are guilty of unethical or illegal practice shall present such information to the proper authority for action. A. Engineers in private practice shall not review the work of another engineer for the same client, except with the knowledge of such engineer or unless the connection of such engineer with the work has been terminated. B. Engineers in governmental, industrial, or educational employ are entitled to review and evaluate the work of other engineers when so required by their employment duties. C. Engineers in sales or industrial employ are entitled to make engineering comparison of represented products with products of other suppliers.
I'm Diana Cleo Anrin and Teresa, and I will continue to discuss the professional obligations, which is in number 8. It is stated that engineers have a duty to take personal responsibility for their professional activities. However, they are allowed to seek indemnification or financial protection for services they provide, as long as those services don't involve gross negligence or extreme carelessness and the engineer's interests cannot be protected in any other way. This means that engineers should be accountable for their actions but can seek financial protection under certain conditions. So in letter A says that engineers shall conform with state registration laws in the practice of engineering. So it emphasizes that engineers must comply with the registration laws and requirements established by the state when practicing engineering. Also, it's important for engineers to meet the legal obligations related to their profession within their jurisdiction. While in letter B says that engineers shall not use association with a non-engineer, a corporation, or a partnership as a cloak for unethical acts. So it is prohibited for engineers to associate themselves with non-engineers, corporations, or partnerships in a way that serves as a cover or disguise for unethical actions. Engineers are expected to maintain ethical standards and not misuse their connections or associations to engage in unethical behavior. So yeah, in these principles and guidelines are essential for engineers to uphold their professionalism, integrity, and ethical conduct in their practice. And number 9, engineers are obligated to acknowledge and give proper credit to those individuals who deserve recognition for their contributions to engineering work. They must also respect the intellectual property rights of others. Under of it is a letter A, that engineers should, whenever feasible, identify and give credit to the individuals who are individually responsible for specific designs, inventions, writings, or other significant achievements. And in letter B, is that engineers who use designs provided by a client should acknowledge that these designs still belongs to the client and cannot be copied or replicated by the engineer for others without obtaining explicit permission. C. Engineers, before starting work for others that might involve creating improvements, plans, designs, inventions, or other materials eligible for copyrights or patents, should establish a clear agreement regarding ownership. And in letter D, is that designs, data, records, and notes created by engineers in the context of their employment are considered the property of their employer. The employer is responsible for protecting the engineer if the information is used for purposes other than its original intent. Footnote 1. Sustainable development is the challenge of meeting human needs for natural resources, industrial products, energy, food, transportation, shelter, and effective waste management while conserving and protecting environmental quality and the natural resource base essential for future development. So, the concept of it is addressing the needs of humanity for resources like natural resources, industrial products, energy, food, transportation, shelter, and effective waste management. It aims to do so while also preserving and safeguarding environmental quality and the essential natural resources needed for future development. In accordance with the order of the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, the previous Section 11C of the NSPE, or National Society of Professional Engineers Code of Ethics, which prohibited competitive bidding and all related policy statements, opinions, rulings, or guidelines that interpreted it have been revoked. This was done because they were found to unlawfully interfere with the legal right of engineers, protected under antitrust laws, to provide price information to potential clients. As a result, nothing within the NSPE Code of Ethics, its policies, opinions, rulings, or other guidelines prohibits engineers from submitting price quotations or competitive bids for engineering services, regardless of the time or amount. Let's move on with the statement by NSPE Executive Committee. In this part, explains that there have been misunderstandings or misinterpretations since the Supreme Court issued its decision and the final judgment. It then highlights that in its decision on April 25, 1978, the Supreme Court explicitly stated that the Sherman Act does not mandate competitive bidding. It is further noted that, as made clear in the Supreme Court decision, number one is that both individual engineers and engineering firms have the right to decline participation in competitive bidding for engineering services. Number two, clients or customers are not obligated to solicit bids or proposal for engineering services. And in number three, federal existing federal, state, and local laws that regulate the procurement processes for for engineering services are not influenced by this decision and continue to fully enforceable. Number four, state engineering societies and local chapters are allowed to actively and vigorously advocate for legislation related to the selection and negotiation procedures of professionals by public agencies. And in number five, that this part states that the rules of professional conduct set by the State Registration Board, which also include rules against competitive bidding for engineering services, are not influenced by this provision and continue to be fully valid and effective. State registration boards that have the authority to establish rules of professional conduct may also establish rules that govern the procedures for acquiring engineering services. And lastly, number six is that the Supreme Court acknowledged that its judgment does not prohibit the National Society of Professional Engineers, or NSPE, and its members from trying to influence government actions. This note addresses the question of how the Engineering Code of Ethics applies to corporations in comparison to individual engineers. It emphasizes that this structure or type of a business entity should not be used as an excuse to avoid or compromise an individual's adherence to the code. The code primarily concerns professional services, which can only be provided by real individuals. These individuals, in turn, have a role in establishing and implementing policies within business organizations. The code is specifically written to be applicable to individual engineers, and it is the responsibility of NSPE members to make an effort to comply with its provisions. This principle applies to all relevant sections of the code.